Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition and playing it cool in Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, and choosing your path on stating what you believe on major cultural issues. Alright, so I just saw Ghostbusters Afterlife. Very spectacularly awesome movie. Spoilers for Ghostbusters Afterlife in this content. Alright, so Ghostbusters Afterlife is just amazing. It is so good, but it picks up a very good question for today. Alright, so we are Dungeon Masters and we are running Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, okay? And when we run Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, we are, if you're listening to this channel, you probably have some pretty engaged players, right? And there are games out there where people just want to chop a goblin in half. I don't think I have anybody like that listening to this channel at length, right? You have engaged, highly charismatic, highly confident, highly intelligent players, right? And when you have those players are going to be listening to your narrative, and they're going to listen to your meta narrative. And your meta narrative is going to make very bold, distinct declarations about modern day, right? And when we engage in art, and that's exactly what we're engaging with when we run a Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition game, what we believe about the world's biggest problems is going to become evident, right? So one of the biggest questions right now is climate change, right? So we used to have this old question, all right, which was, climate change, is it real? That question's gone. Nobody seriously is debating that climate change isn't here, right? So there is still debate about what the cause is, right? And here's the biggest debate. Does climate change matter? Okay? So they just got done with the COP26, right? And what it was the United Nations, literally like half the countries on the globe coming together to talk about what we were going to do for climate change, right? And the world is looking on through the media through the lens of the media, and then people are commenting and about what's happening and what's being said at the COP26, right? So all these nations and all these scientists and all these leaders, right? They're like flapping their gums and like rah, 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 climate change matters, right? But outside there were 400 private jets sitting there that had taken them there. So their words were climate change matters, right? But their actions showed their words to be performative. The climate change really didn't matter, and nobody needed to worry about it. And I think at the macro level, people really aren't worried about climate change. And the reason why is it's like when you're when you have visitors coming, right? Friday night, right? You get off of work and you're having visitors come over for lunch on Sunday, right? You need to clean the place up. You need to do the grocery shopping, right? But you don't worry about it. And you know why you don't worry about it? Technology's going to handle it. You're going to get on your phone, and at 9 p.m. on a Friday night, you're going to call your buddy over and say, hey, help me clean this place up. And the next day, you're going to get the dopest meal possible with Uber Dash. You don't care, because you can fix it all with tech. It's the same thing with climate change. Nobody cares about the now, and nobody wants to eat hummus, and nobody wants to drive a lame electric car, and nobody wants to put, solar panels on the top of your house that means you're going to get a lien on your house when you try to sell it, right? It's all lame, right? All the solutions that have been put forward are lame. And people are like, I don't need to worry about that now. 10 years from now, we'll get half the planet on Mars. Done. Tech will handle it. I agree, right? So here's the thing. When we tell our Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition stories, we can tell our players what we think about the biggest issues in the world. And we don't have to interrupt the story to do it, okay? So Ghostbusters Afterlife had this amazing, spectacularally funny joke in it. So Egon Spengler's granddaughter says, you want to hear a joke? To one of her classmates. And actually it's a podcast, which is this amazing, awesome character in the show. And he's like a 10-year-old conspiracy theorist with a podcast. He's a great character. And he says, yeah, I'd love to hear a joke. Hit me, right? And she's like, what do you call a dead polar bear, right? And she's like, and he's like, I don't know, what? And she says, anything you want, it's dead, right? And I fell out in the theater. This is so funny, right? But what it was saying was, right, This is Hollywood, right? So Hollywood, this is a Hollywood blockbuster, okay? These are the most liberal people in the world. And they're like, we don't care about it. We tell you, like, if anybody asks any of our actors, if we care about climate change, we say yes, but we don't give a crap. Like, we're just like you. We know we're all going to go to Mars 10 years from now on jets built by one American billionaire or another, right? It ain't a thing. Nobody needs to worry. We'll handle it Saturday night at 9 p.m. with tech, right? Like, that's the issue, right? You call your friend and they give you a hand cleaning up. You call Uber and it's all done, right? And guess what? The tech world will save humanity. We'll do it. We've done it before. We'll do it again. We already had a round with this. It was called Y2K. We handled it perfectly. I was part of that effort. All right. So don't worry, world. Climate change is done. Tech's got it managed. And when you run your game, right, you can tell people. You actually will tell people, right? You should do it purposely so that you make sure you get your message in a fun way, right? But like, I was so amazed. Hollywood was like, yeah, we've been making motions that we care about climate change, but the reality is we all want to drive 69 Camaros and eat double cheeseburgers, and nobody here wants hummus or lame electric cars, really, at the end of the day, right? And just be aware, when you run your Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition game, you are going to tell people what you think of the biggest questions in the world. But be mindful. Do it in a way where you're controlling the message and it doesn't interrupt the story. I loved that they interrupted the Ghostbusters Afterlife movie and showed every dungeon master out there, here's how you comment on today's biggest issues in a way that's fun, right in the middle of your story. And there's no disruption. There's just added fun, right? And they're like, yes, Hollywood is 100% performative on climate change and really does not care about climate change one iota, right? And it was just so honest and raw and cool and fun. And I was appreciative of it because, like, Hollywood flexes a lot and acts like greater than now and holier than now. But here they were just being honest and real, right? And it didn't interrupt the story. And that's the way we should be as dungeon masters. If you're ever going to, kind of put in politics or address current cultural issues, don't hesitate to do it. You can absolutely do it anytime you want, right? But just make sure that it's adding to the fun of the film and it's non-disruptive. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing. Have a wonderful day.